Alright, so The Martian stars Matt Damon, Jeff Daniels, Sean Bean, among a bunch of other people, in a movie where Matt Damon is an astronaut who gets stranded and left for dead, accidentally, of course, by his crew. And he has to find a way to survive on Mars until he can somehow find a way home. And this is a really, really well done movie. It's directed by Ridley Scott, and Ridley Scott has been on a shit streak for the past, I don't even know how many years. Last three movies, Prometheus, The Counselor, and Exodus, Gods and Kings, all, oh god, they just weren't good. I heard about The Martian, and I said, this sounds promising, but it's Ridley Scott, how's it gonna be? Happy to say it's a good movie. Now, is it like the best of the year for me? I don't think so. I still think Inside Out's better, in my opinion, even though you can't really compare the two. But this is still a very well done movie. The acting is great, especially Matt Damon. Matt Damon is phenomenal in this. He is so good. The rest of the crew, like Jessica Chastain, Michael Pena, Kate Mara, they were all good. Like, no performance in this really stuck out. It's like, ooh, they're acting. All of these felt real. Like, there were enough subtle nuances to where you could believe these were real people. But Matt Damon steals the show. He is unbelievably good in this movie. And funny enough is, I know some people might be thinking, how can someone being alone on a planet for 2 hours be interesting? And honestly, they're the most interesting parts of the movie. When Matt Damon is there talking to himself and figuring out ways to do things, that is really the most interesting part of the movie. You definitely care about him. He's a likable character. He's optimistic. The movie's actually surprisingly funny too, and it's very upbeat, and you stay rooting for him, and you want to see how he figures out these things. But where the movie starts to slow down a bit for me is when it cuts back to Earth, and that's where you get the cast such as Chiwetel Ejiafor, Jeff Daniels, Sean Bean, and it slows down a bit for me just because I don't know what it was, but it just dragged on a bit there. The stakes didn't feel as high compared to as they did when they were on Mars, and that's an issue I face with the movie, because while at first like, okay, this isn't as good, but it's still very good. Towards the end, you start to feel the length of this movie. This movie is about 2.5 hours long, and when it stays on Earth, there's a very long part where it just stays on Earth without cutting back to Mars, and that's where the movie starts to drag, and you're just like, it's so long, and you didn't really feel that any time when Matt Damon was on Mars. But besides that, I still think it's a pretty enjoyable movie. Nothing really feels out there. There's nothing like that ridiculous part in Gravity when Sandra Bullock grabbed the fire hydrant and like pushed herself through space. There's nothing ridiculous like that. Everything seems somewhat plausible. You can definitely see how some things can happen in this. And that's what I liked a lot about it. It stayed in the realm of plausibility. Didn't try to get too technical, but also didn't get too fantastical. And the visual is amazing. And it's not too gimmicky. It's another thing I love about it. It didn't rely completely on the visuals. I think the performances, honestly, are what really carry this movie through. So all in all, I'm actually going to give The Martian an 8 out of 10. I definitely think you should go see it. It's a great movie. It's just that if I didn't start to feel the length so much towards the end, definitely would have given it a higher score. But regardless of that, the movie is still very well done, and I highly recommend you go see it.